What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant. And if you have a rant suggestion, as long as I haven't done it already, so be sure and check the playlist first, just in case. Be it about Grand Theft Auto, Mafia, Red Dead, gaming in general, or YouTube, feel free and send your rant my way via the comment section, or other social media ways of getting in touch with me and staying connected to the GeauxBurns Nation. Facebook, as well as Twitter, both of which linked below in the description section with all sorts of other social things. So be sure and check out the description section if you haven't had a chance. And like I said, if you have a rant suggestion for a future episode, feel free and send it my way. All right, so this past Tuesday, Rockstar dripped out the final vehicle that was part of the gun running update. And this is a rant we went over, a few weeks ago in my drip feed rant. So a lot of this may feel like stomping on a dead horse. Anyways, so the Ocelot Ardent was released this past Tuesday. And, the consensus from everybody part of the GeauxBurns stream team when we showed off the Ardent was, Rockstar definitely did not save the best for last when it came to this car. Now, a couple things about the Ocelot Ardent. It looks really cool. It has definitely a sweet looking 70s sports car vibe to it. I also like the fact that you do not necessarily need the MOC in order to have the Ardent and customize it unless you want some of those, military themed liveries. That's the only reason why you would need the MOC to go with the Ardent. Now, the Ardent is based off of the Lotus E-Spirit and was featured in the 1977 James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me, with Roger Moore. And in the film, the E-Spirit was submersible. Now, obviously, the Lotus E-Spirit in real life is not submersible, but it was a Bond film, and you know how Bond has all these really cool gadgets. That was one of the cool things about the E-Spirit in The Spy Who Loved Me, that he could take it from the road being chased by bad guys. In order to escape, he would just dive it into the water and it would go submersible. So that led a lot of us to believe that maybe the car wouldn't be submersible, but maybe at the very least, it would be amphibious. Now, whenever we did the live stream on Tuesday, clearly in the paragraph where it's featured in Warstock, at the very end it says that, you cannot take it into the water, which I think is total BS. We'll get into that in a moment. So, a few things about the Ardent. According to another awesome YouTuber, Bruffy, who's very good at testing vehicle speeds and lap times, the Ardent performs very well when it comes to lap time. It's one of the best sports classics in the game when it comes to lap time, which is awesome, except for one small problem. You cannot use the Ardent in races. Now, some people would be like, well, GeauxBurns, it does have guns on it, but Rockstar could easily disable the guns for races, so you would not be able to use the guns whenever you're racing, unless it's a GTA race. But I digress. You could still technically use a race version of the Ardent, or Rockstar could just have a code in there where if you use the Ardent, the guns are disabled. You can't use them. But anyways, despite the fact that it has a very good lap time, it's very fast for a sports classic, it cannot be used for racing other sports classics, which sucks. Next, let's talk about the weapon that comes with the Ardent, the machine guns, which fire normal ammo, and it doesn't really have that much destructive power. If you put it up against other weaponized vehicles in the game now, like the weaponized Tampa, the Ruiner 2000, which also has basic machine guns, but it also has rockets, and it has the ability to jump, and it has a parachute. Then, of course, the Insurgent Pickup Custom. You can have somebody up in the big gun on top, and the firepower of the cannon on the Insurgent Pickup Custom is much stronger than the machine guns of the Ardent. And then, of course, the Oppressor. The Oppressor, you can go one way or the other. You can either have normal machine guns, or eventually you can get rockets, but the big difference is the Oppressor can, take to the skies. It can go from land to air. Even this vehicle, which I did a rant on a few weeks ago, the Technical Pickup Custom, despite its flaws, has a way better weapon on it than the Ardent's machine guns. And as I mentioned a moment ago, another big issue concerning the Ardent. Now, if it would have had this ability, I think this would have been a selling point for the Ardent. The fact that not only is it not submersible, like in that James Bond film I just mentioned, starring Roger Moore, it isn't even amphibious. And this is sad because Rockstar has already introduced amphibious vehicles. Vehicles that can, go on land and in the water. Like, for example, the APC, the Blazer Aqua, as well as the Technical Aqua. Now, if the APC, which is this behemoth of a vehicle, this tank that can either have a badass cannon on top or SAMs and is, can take a lot of damage, can, go on land, can go off-road, and go into the ocean, then I think Rockstar missed out a real good opportunity to make the Ardent also an amphibious vehicle. I mean, it could have been easily the fastest of the amphibious vehicles, but it would have been a very good selling point for this vehicle. But alas, if you attempt to take the Ardent into the water, yeah, it's going to be destroyed. Then, of course, let's get to another big issue concerning the Ardent. Lack of armored protection. Now, you can get the, the quote-unquote standard armor that comes with all the vehicles, but it doesn't have any additional protection. In other words, it can be easily destroyed by a sticky bomb, an RPG, a rocket, a missile. You get the idea. Now, you put the Ardent up against other vehicles that do have armored protection, it fails completely, like the Insurgent Pickup, Custom, the Night Shark, even the Duke of Death and the Armored Kurumas have a degree of armored protection that the Ardent lacks. So whereas they can take some damage, the Ardent cannot. So not only does it have, weak machine guns that takes quite a bit of time to, say, destroy another vehicle, even if it's just a basic vehicle with no protection, no weapons or anything, just your run-of-the-mill NPC car driving by, yeah, it takes a while to destroy it. Even if you're, shooting it head on, hitting its engine, it's going to take a few rounds to destroy it. But going up against, these other vehicles, the truth is the Ardent does not stand a chance, because even if it's going up against someone in a Duke of Death or an Armored Kuruma, you can simply lob sticky bombs at the Ardent and destroy it, and then be about your day. So let's take a comparison between two of the drip vehicles that have come out. And this is unfortunately par for the course when it comes to these vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online, especially when it comes to, the drip-fed vehicles that are locked on an update, and then eventually Rockstar puts them out in the following weeks. In this case, it's been quite some time since Gun Running came out, and this is the final vehicle. And that's what I find crazy. So we're going to do a quick comparison between two of these drip-fed vehicles, and it's amazing to see which one is vastly superior and a completely better deal than the other. The Ardent, listed at $1.1 million in Grand Theft Auto currency, versus the Night Shark at $1.2 million. Now, if you just go by the numbers and you're like, well, GeauxBurns, the Ardent's cheaper, I should go with the Ardent. Well, yeah, but only by about $100,000, which in Grand Theft Auto money isn't that much. And as they say, sometimes cheaper isn't always better. All right, so both of these vehicles, the Ardent is fast, but the Night Shark is also fast. The Ardent has machine guns, and you can also switch to basic weapons, except for, I think, sticky bombs. So if you have like an AP pistol you'd rather use, I would prefer using the AP pistol or an SMG over the built-in machine guns for the Ardent. But the Night Shark also has the same machine guns and the ability for you to switch to like a handgun. Like I mentioned, either like the APC, the SMG. Those are usually the two that drivers prefer using whenever they're driving around shooting at each other. Now, the big, giant, whopping difference that really tips the balance in the favor of the Night Shark is the fact that it does have armor protection. It can take a few sticky bombs. It can take a few rockets and missiles before it finally blows up. The Ardent, one and done. You hit it, that's all she wrote. Blasted to bits. So, in conclusion, it's just another prime example of vehicles getting undeserved spotlight whenever they're dripped out, like I talked about in my rant video a few weeks ago regarding these drip-fed vehicles. If they were all released the same day, then chances are the Ardent would have gotten way less sales than it did this past Tuesday. But the fact that it came out by itself and that Rockstar promoted it, and some people like the look of the Ardent, including myself. I like the look. But at the same time, the fact that they mentioned it in the paragraph, the fact that people are quick to go and look at the Ardent, what it looks like, and then go compare it to the Lotus E-Spirit from The Spy Who Loves Me, would leave a lot of people to believe that this vehicle, at the very least, could have been submersible. Well, maybe not submersible, but at the very least, amphibious. Even though Rockstar, to their credit, put it in the paragraph, still, how many people actually bother to read the paragraph anyways? I would recommend you do it next time if you just bought it making that assumption. But at the same time, the consensus from everyone on the GeauxBurns stream team this past Tuesday was basically the same, that this vehicle was not worth purchasing. It was not worth wasting your money on. And what's even more interesting is within a few days from now, another Grand Theft Auto Online update is coming out, Smuggler's Run. So it just compounds the issue that somebody that may have preferred the content coming with Smuggler's Run, spent $1.1 million on the Ardent. Now, the good thing about the Ardent is you could sell it back. You can get some of that money back, not all of it. But at the end of the day, it's just interesting how Tuesday, Rockstar, drops the final vehicle that was dripped from gun runners. And then 2 days later, they make this announcement out of nowhere that Smuggler's Run coming Tuesday to Grand Theft Auto Online with a whole bunch of awesome aircraft that's going to be customizable with weapons and very expensive as hell. Some people may have preferred to save the $1.1 million, on the Ardent and spend it towards maybe a hangar or maybe even an aircraft. So, in conclusion, the Ardent is a very disappointing vehicle that could have been so much more if it would have been included in racing for sports classics, and if it would have had the ability to be amphibious along with the APC, the Blazer Aqua, as well as the Technical Aqua. If Rockstar would have just done those two things, it would have made the Ocelot Ardent a vehicle most definitely worth purchasing instead of one that most people should avoid at all costs.